After more than a life remains a challenge in Sierra. We follow the
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, and welcome to our EdFin webinar series 2. My name is Chika Ogu, and I'll be your host for today. Today, we're going to be talking about income-generating ideas for school post-lockdown. We understand that a lot of people have, especially the education sector, has been adversely affected as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. And as EdFin Microfinance Bank, we're looking at ways to support schools and education service providers to solving their issues, regarding education. We have very interesting lineup of speakers today. We are actually going to divide this event into 4 segments, and we hope that you will find it useful to your school operations. With me today, we have our amiable MD. She is Mrs. Bumi Lawson. She's going to take us through income generation ideas post-lockdown, after which we would have our heads of commercial in the person of Mr. Stephen Emola and Ms. Dayo Adewale, who would also take us through income generations through textbooks and remote learning solution respectively. We also have Dayo Dalokun, who coordinates our partnerships and programs efforts at the bank, and he's going to be taking us on data sales, as one of the income generation ideas. But this is, the idea of this webinar is to help us think through various ways in which we can generate income and continue our operations and ensure sustainability in our operations. So thank you once again. Sit back, enjoy. We're happy to have you here, and we're happy to take your questions. If you have any questions, please put in our comment box. I'd like to also inform you that this event is streamed live on YouTube. So gather your friends and family in the education space together, and let's have this conversation on how to solve our current pressing needs in our organizations. So welcome once again and enjoy. Lagos State, Nigeria is one of the fastest growing cities in the world today. The city's educational system, like that of the entire country, is struggling to keep pace with the burgeoning population.
Over 18,000 private schools have opened to fill this void. Over the last decade, the global number of out-of-school children has continued to decline. But while the world is making a remarkable decrease, 1 in every 5 of the world's out-of-school children is in Nigeria. The government has come up with various initiatives to tackle these challenges. Similarly, school leaders, education boards, government agencies, and private sector organizations are also committed to solving this issue. In addition to the various efforts being carried out by key stakeholders, Edfin Microfinance Bank is deliberately making efforts to make an impact in the education sector to enable education for the future. About 13.2 million of the country's children aged 5 to 14 are out of school. The education sector in Nigeria is besetted with major challenges such as poor infrastructure, paucity of quality teachers, limited teaching aids, insufficient libraries, laboratories, and computers. These problems continue due to a lack of appropriate funding, despite the efforts of the private sector. The continuous rise of Nigerians schooling abroad shows there is more room for improvement. We need to start enabling education for the future by increasing access to finance so that there is increased investment in education to increase access and quality of education for the growing population. Nigeria's youth illiteracy has increased from 5.19 million in 1991 to 9.43 million in 2015, growing at an average annual rate of 24.32%.
Edfin Microfinance Bank provides financial services to the education ecosystem. We say that we provide financial services in such a way that it enables the realization of human potential. In Edfin, we believe that if we provide educational support, which is what we call our value-added services, together with financial services, that would lead to improved learning outcomes in schools. Schools will grow faster. They will to recruit more people. They will to provide better learning opportunities and open the minds of our young generation so that they truly can make this country great as we expect.
As part of the solution to provide adequate funding, the first specialized education microfinance bank is here. Edfin Microfinance Bank, enabling education for the future.
Thank you for watching this. I hope it was useful. So we're going to go into the first segment of our program today. We have our MD, Ms. Bumi Lawson, who will take us on our first session today.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone who is joining us. Thank you for being here today. We really appreciate your coming in, and we hope that you will find the session very enlightening and that this will enable you increase the income that your school would generate post-COVID. As we all know, COVID has really impacted everyone in a severe manner. It came unexpectedly. It's a global phenomenon. And not only did it affect the education sector, it affected all sectors of the economy. In fact, Nigeria reports that there is a 6% contraction in terms of the economic impact so far. We expect that it may even be slightly higher than that. Edfin, as you all know, is the first education specialized bank. Our focus really is to ensure that we are able to support the education ecosystem so that we realize human potential. We achieve this by providing affordable and flexible financing, but also supporting stakeholders in the education sector. We recognize as a specialized education Finance Bank that if our schools and the education sector are not doing well, EdFin will not do well. So we will not do well, but also we will not be able to achieve our mission of the realization of human potential. So we believe that we should support you, and we've had various webinars to do so. I'm sure some of you would have joined our previous webinars. Now, as I said, we are really in supporting the education sector, and I'm sure you know our mission, vision, and our values, which really spell our name. But I want to go quickly to the main purpose why we are here today, which is to really look at how schools can generate income in this post-COVID lockdown period. Given that there is economic hardship, disposable income of parents would have gone down. Teachers, some of them have not been earning salaries. School owners have seen a drastic reduction in school fees. And even now that schools are about to reopen, we are very concerned that there may be a higher number of children who don't go back to school. Schools may lose some of their students, and so on and so forth. So what should schools do to really react to this post-COVID environment so that they actually survive the economic downturn, but also actually thrive? So that's what we are here to discuss today. So as I was saying, post-lockdown, SMEs are affected, and the education sector is one of that. We are seeing over a 6.9% economic contraction. There's high rate of on and underemployment. There's severe drops in disposable income. Even the schools now, we are seeing increased competition. Everybody is struggling to get that child back in class. And yet we need more investment in schools, because to keep your schools COVID safe, you need to ensure that you have running water, enough taps. You need to ensure you're maintaining your 2 meters distance so you can't pack classes as full as they used to be, so on and so forth. And all of these need additional investment. And yet schools are not earning income as much as before. So cash flows are really severely hampered. One of the things we have going for us is that Nigeria still remains a growing country. The population is growing. 60% of our almost 200 million Nigerians are below the age of 24 years old, so they still need school. So demand for learning will still increase. It's how do we ensure that your school is positioned to be able to take advantage of that growing population and higher demand for education. We need to know that parents are struggling. So how do we ensure that they can still afford to send their children to school? So we're going to share some of those ideas with you. If you have questions, please put them in the chat so that we can make it as interactive as possible. We also encourage you to share ideas. If you have experience in some of the ideas, if you've seen them actually work, or you have actually implemented them, you can also share your experience in that regard. So parents will be asking themselves these questions. Should we go to public school? Should we continue with our private school? Should we homeschool? Should we drop out of school for a while, especially very low income ones who will require the children to even help them generate income? So those are some of the things that parents too would be struggling to respond to. And all over the world, over 40 million learners, all over the world, 1.3 billion people are affected by the closures of school, and in Nigeria, over 40 million. So what should we do to generate income? How should schools survive? What we want to do is how do we make income? And basically, to survive post-COVID, there are 3 key things you need to do. You need to increase income, you need to reduce costs, and have cash in hand, because cash is king. So I'm sure all of us know all these 3 segments, but what should we do in each of them that will truly lead to an increase in income? So I'm going to take you through some of the ideas that we have quickly, but I feel that during the panel discussion and interaction, we would then share more ideas and some of the things that even we at EdFin have come up with to enable our schools generate additional income. So under increased income, the first and easiest is actually to ensure that you are retaining your current students, because there is a key risk that you may lose your current students. So it is way easier to keep current families that you have than to find new ones. So how do you ensure that all your current students come back? So one of the first things actually is communication, and I put it 3 times, communication, communication, communication. During the lockdown, we hope you are communicating with the parents. We hope you kept in touch with your students, just to find out, even if it's just to find out how they were, how they are doing. I know some people even did remote learning options, offered it for free, ensure they were still learning, doing assignments and projects and so on and so forth. Is one of the key ways, so that this parent continues to remember you and build on that relationship. One idea that we have is that do a free back to school refresher course. So you could call it like a rehearsal, how to keep safe during COVID, so that your existing parents, you call them all back. From that, you even know how many of them will actually come. Because if for free they don't come, is it when you ask for school fees that they will come? So even if it's just a 1-day refresher course, you schedule it and make sure you're adhering to the COVID guidelines, but do a refresher course. This is how you wash your hands, this is how you keep safe, and so on and so forth. Engage also the parents. Ask them about school fees, what are the issues, and so on and so forth. Now, one of the ideas we also have to support parents is to ensure that they pay school fees, because that really is your income. Are there ways to schedule the payment of fees? Should you collect fees on a monthly basis instead of termly in advance? So one example I gave, if you look at under number 4, tuition fees, is that, for instance, if your school fees is 30,000 naira per term, should they pay 12,000 naira per month, which even allows you eventually in the 3 months gain higher school fees, but may be more convenient for the parent to pay because they are earning their own incomes too on a monthly basis. So is that something you want to do? Do you have a strong bursar or accountant who can track who has paid school fees, who has not, and so on, because that's what will be needed for monthly payments of fees. New enrollments. COVID actually gives us the opportunity for new enrollments. Prior to that, some people may be living, say, on a street in Surulere and have to take transport or drop the children at school in the morning before going to work. But with COVID, because you don't want them in public transport, you don't want them walking long distance, they may be looking for schools that are just next door or close to them. Scout your environment. Are there ways to you can now attract new students, especially if you are doing monthly payments of fees, you're having a 1-day refresher, learn about COVID, you can't get people into your class. But also, apart from, if for instance, say you're a primary school, so your target market are primary students, primary school age, but are there other things you can do that attract new people beyond primary school? So after school, or the days where you don't have people coming in, your students coming into class, are there other things you can do? For instance, can you invite a guest speaker that can come and talk, and then you are able to charge a token either for your community or through their session leaders can come and speak, but then students or other people in the area can actually pay for those events. So you can organize lunch and learn events. You can add new target markets. So if you have primary school and you don't have nursery and creche, could you then add nursery and creche since you have more space now, maybe because maybe everybody didn't come back to school or you're running shift classes? Can you do vocational adult classes? So people who want to learn to speak or write English, are those things that your teachers can actually do. Then you could also, through a remote learning platform, reach people across very near your school, so they don't have to take transport. You can then give them a device with content and data right to your school. We will showcase some of those examples right there on the street so that people are there. on the street, they can learn at home, and if they need additional tuition once a week, they can come into your schools. And then after school lessons that you can do, so that you are teaching people, even maybe it's work preparation. It doesn't have to be only your students. It can be open to everyone around that community, provided you also still keep in line with the COVID regulation. So you can run shifts. So maybe every 2 hours, you have your 20 people or up to 50, depending on how they approve it and the space that you have, and so on and so forth. Then you should look at, it's better to have students than none at all. What are your competition charging in terms of school fees? The next school that is around you, maybe there's a school that is on the same street, they are charging 25,000 naira per term, you are charging 30. In this age where there isn't much money, parents will be looking for the cheapest and the lowest cost to go to. So those are things that you also need to look at. That what are the things you can remove from what you typically pile up in schools? Because it's not only just tuition fees. Some people may have extra curriculum activities, uniforms, all those other things. What can you remove from that that will make it more affordable for parents to come in? And you could then offer beneficial payment terms. For instance, if you pay lump sum, you get a discount. If you have to spread it over time, then you pay full amount and things like that. If you bring in 3 or 4 children, you get discounts. And I know some of you have already implemented this, but you probably need to do more of that just to get the students in. During this post-lockdown and during the economic downturn, the key issue is survival. You need to make sure that you're earning income that covers your costs. It's no longer about, making that huge profit. Is that we want to survive so that you are sure you can continue to keep your school open and provide training. So that once the economic downturn goes up, you are still there, maybe even better, you've gotten a wider market reach. So programs and other sales, are there WAEC revisions that you can do? Can you outsource your classes? So when they are not using the classroom, people who, for instance, do professional training like accountancy or your private teachers that don't have a location, can you outsource your classrooms for them to be able to use those classrooms for learning and so on and so forth, after school creche? Because parents now, some of them may have to do 2 jobs, 3 jobs. They want a safe place they can keep their children. Can you do after school creche, after school lessons that enable them know that your parents, the children, are in a safe place? So those are some of the things that you felt for income generation. And typically what you use to measure whether your school is improving over the last term is to see your retention rate. How many students did you have before COVID? How many actually came back and are paying school fees? Did you find new families? And when we say families, you should encourage parents to have all their children in one school, so that it's easier for them to either drop off, the logistics and so on and so forth. So that's what you should try to do. Who can your parents refer and so on and so forth? How many inquiries about enrollment do you have? Because that's what's going to lead to new enrollment. So how many new people came in? Try to get how many children per family. If you have 2 or so per family, is good. Then what is your tuition fees? How many of it has been collected, paid? And what programs are you doing per child? So are there smaller programs that they need to pay in piecemeal that you can now have for your children? And what profit margins do you have and your current number of students? So all of that are things that you should track to ensure that you look at the profits. And so I don't take too much time. The other significant one is to reduce costs. One of the areas that I also felt that schools should look at is to get grants. Look out for scholarships. Those of you that are on the Edfin School Club, we shared with you the Facebook scholarship that is being done for SMEs. A private school is most likely to qualify as an SME. Most schools may not consider themselves, when there are all these activities for SME, they will just not sit back or not apply. So apply for them as much as possible. One of the things we did was to encourage our schools to apply for the NISTRA loan. Quite a number of them got it. Some applied too late because they felt, they won't get it. Apply anyway, so that as much as possible, you can get scholarships or grants to cover some of your costs. For instance, there may be grants that cover STEM, which is on technology, engineering, maths, your science, your labs. There may be scholarships for children to cover even school fees, because they recognize that during COVID, it will be hard. Then for some of your teachers too, try performance-linked pay so that you really retain your high performance. So if you are running extra classes, share profits or some of the fees with them, so that they too are encouraging people to actually come into your classes. Pay off expensive loans. So if you have expensive loans and you can get cheaper ones, so like Mistral is giving you 9%, pay off the one that is 4% per month or even higher, so that way you will see that your cost on financing goes down. Buy bulk, go through your school associations. So if there are equipments you need, like the hand wash machine, buy bulk, get an association to buy bulk so that you can get it cheaper. Have a budget and keep to it. Use outdoor class. Luckily, in the guidelines from Lagos State, they encourage you to even use outdoor where there's proper ventilation. So maybe you just need a canopy. Some of our schools still come to us, oh, we want to build classrooms and so on and so forth, and we need loans. No, it is better to actually encourage outdoor, but please put the children in the shade so that they are not too hot, and then with fans and so on. Then use technology to manage your administration and so on and so forth, so that you are better able to cover your costs. Then pay as you use. Pay as you use options. So even your landlord, go and negotiate the rent. I will pay you monthly, quarterly, or don't pay 2 years in advance because you need more cash. Then to even help parents, uniforms, because they may have put the uniform, the child has grown bigger. So are they all going to now buy new uniforms? Those are extra costs. Can you have a color code as opposed to saying that, oh, come and buy uniforms when they can't even pay for school fees? So I know that some people make profits from uniforms, but maybe just a color code, white shirts, gray trouser, or something like that. Then rent out spaces that you are not using, as allowed by Lagos State, of course. So when there's no school and the children are not around, if you have a school hall, those kind of things. Then even school buses, if they're not making money, sell them off. Don't waste fuel, don't waste generator, all of those things. Reduce the use of air conditioning and so on and so forth. Look at how many people are in your school and tell yourself that, oh, I'm not going to spend more than 80% of the cash income I generate in any month. So that's what you should try to aim for. And lastly, in terms of cash is king, collect as much as possible what you can upfront and give discounts to get more upfront payments. It's very key. Delay, but for you, delay payments out as much as possible. Ask for credit. The book supplier, if they can give it to you on credit, do it. If you can get a scheme where they say pay instrumentally, do it. As I said, ask your landlord too. It is very difficult for him to kick you out and find another school he will rent the building to. The vacancy factor is very high. Negotiate, negotiate, negotiate. But whatever you renegotiate, please ensure that you adhere to the promise that you make. So don't be in default or just say, oh, because of COVID, take advantage. But if you go to a landlord, for instance, and say, I'm going to pay you quarterly, and he agrees, please ensure that you make the payments as agreed. Then get low-cost loans as much as possible. I'm going to leave it at that. I hope that someone will ask, oh, how do we get these low-cost loans? Then I will be able to answer you. But there are some things that EDFIN is doing to be able to see that we can get low-cost loans for the education sector. So then there's inflation in the economy. So costs are going to go high, but that also means that cash is scarce. When you pay cash, you may be able to get significant discounts. Ask for it so that your cost goes down and you retain as much cash as possible. So in sum, you can also brainstorm with your communities, especially your employees, about ideas to see what can be done in your area, because there may be some unique things that you can do. You will see that we are not encouraging school owners to go outside of education so that there's no distraction around education. We won't say, okay, open an extra poultry farm or those kind of things. Unless it would not distract from the school at all. So, but we do feel that within even the education sector, there are things that you can do and expand, which is what you know, which is your profession, which hopefully was your passion. Focus on that. Don't go into new business areas that you have to relearn. People think, oh, let me just set up one poultry. It's easy to do. It's not. You have to learn that business. You have to have the skills. So try and focus where you have experience and expertise. So of course, maybe your PhD was in agric, but you decided to run a school. Maybe you may be able to get away with a poultry, or if it's something you've already done or other people are managing it for you. But please, we encourage you to focus on education because the demand will be there. The issue with the education sector is true that the education sector will be hit with the economy going down, parents cannot pay, but the demand for education would eventually go up and continue to increase. So ensure that your school can pass through that hardship. This is what we are encouraging you to do. So 3 key things: increase your income in innovative ways, keep your current students, and get new students. New students can be different student types. It doesn't have to be only the type that you currently have. Reduce cost as much as you can. Pay as you go or as you earn. Get cheaper loans, and cash is king. Collect as fast as you can, but pay as late as possible. Thank you. So over to you, Chika.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lawson. This was very insightful. Key takeaways for me, and I believe
Thank you so much, ma'am.
And I believe for schools will be increased income in innovative ways. I mean, this slide is it summarizes everything she said. So increase income in innovative ways. In other words, keep your current students and try to get new student types, reduce costs, as much as possible. Then cash is king. I like the cash is king part because one of the issues I know we have faced, and even during our engagements with school owners is they don't have cash or they are cash trapped. So we have assets here, or we have some sort of investment, but our cash flows it's stopped for over 5-6 months right now. So thank you very much. It was quite insightful. I'm sure the school owners on this webinar will find it extremely useful. Interestingly, we had some people ask questions before this webinar started on things that had to do with what are the income generation ideas for schools post-lockdown. So this presentation aptly answers that question, rather. Also, they talk, you mentioned something about loans and interest, and someone actually asked before we started this, and I'm going to read it out now. The person said, how can we assess the loan? How much is the interest? And how do we pay it back? How many months? How many years? So during the Q&A, we're going to take this up also. And also, something you also aptly answered during your presentation was, how do we keep up with the post-COVID era? What will change? What will not change? How will we cope with these changes, and things like teacher salary, extra income, and parents' expectations? And your presentation puts this together. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your valuable insights, and we hope that we will navigate these things with school owners, this season rather, with the school owners successfully at the end of the year. Thank you very much. So going on, we have our next segment, which is the sale of textbooks. So remember, she had mentioned things like look for increased income in innovative ways, and one of the ways that we at EdFin will suggest is try and see if you can generate income through other educational activity. And so we've come up with a product, and it's going to be anchored by Mr. Stephen. Mr. Stephen, are you there?
Yes, good afternoon.
Okay, so good afternoon. Welcome to the program, Mr. Stephen. Before your program starts, we're going to play a video, on what you're going to present. So let me do that right now.
Did you know
that you can purchase high-quality textbooks without breaking the bank? You can now purchase textbooks in line with the Nigerian National Curriculum from Edfin Microfinance Bank. The textbooks are available for various subjects for nursery and primary classes. Edfin Microfinance Bank guarantees you a reliable and steady supply of high-quality textbooks at affordable prices. You can also earn additional income by reselling these books to students at a margin. You can purchase the books outrightly or obtain loans to purchase the books. For more information, please call 08094546334 or send an email to contact us at edfinmfb.com. Edfin Microfinance Bank, enabling education for the future.
So, Mr. Stephen.
Yes, Chika, good afternoon.
Stephen will do us justice in his show right now. Thank you very much for your time, and over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I must appreciate every one of us that take out time to be part of this webinar. I believe that at the end of the day, you go home with something wonderful. So without taking much of our time, let me share my screen so that we'll go straight to the topic at hand. Where is it? Hello. I hope you can all see my screen.
Yes, Mr. Stephen, go on. We can see your screen.
Yes, just like my MD have said, the COVID has affected business globally. The education system is among the sector that is worst hit. As we speak now, most schools are locked down, although they are easing it, but you can agree with me that income is not flowing as expected. And the COVID is not going out as soon as expected. So we should learn to live with it and devise a means of survival so that we can still have income at this time. In Edfin, our priority is education. Despite the COVID, education must not stop. We want students to still have quality education. And how do we do that? That is what necessitated our partnership with Showers Kiddies Publishing Limited. Their own vision is to educate the African child. Our own is to ensure that
please, the voice is echoing. Can you do something about it?
Oh, can you hear me better now? Hello? Hello?
Go on, Mr. Stephen. I don't,
Okay.
it's not echoing at my end. Possibly the person has two devices on, but
it's
go
network.
on.
Okay.
Go on, sir.
The partnership will enable us to provide a good quality textbook at an affordable price. And not only that, the school owners will also be able to make some money for themselves. So, and we know that, like my MD said, cash is king. Cash is king. Most of us, we don't have cash, so we should not say because there is no cash, we should not take advantage of this. The option of loan is there, and if you want to purchase outrightly, you're also welcome. The merit of the book, like we said, is a source of additional income to the school owner. And you see, the beauty of this book is this: you can't just go to any bookshop or anywhere to get this book, because you cannot get it anywhere. The parents will always come to you for books, meaning that you are sure of generating additional income. And it's not just about any book. The publisher is an accredited publisher in this Lagos, and also the book is in line with the national curriculum. If you said you need a book, the maximum day you can get it is 7 days. Sometimes within 2 days you get it. So, and you are always guaranteed of high quality and color textbook and story books. About the books, what makes this book so unique? I must let us know that this book is for nursery and primary school purpose. And the aim of the book is to give the pupils solid foundation in early literacy. Although we know that everybody is going digital, online, and the rest of it, but we cannot take the place of a book out of it. At this early age, they need something that is colorful, that will be exciting for them to read. So the book is structured, just like I said, based on the Nigeria Educational Research and Development Curriculum, and they are colorful and very exciting. I have some of the books with me, which I will show us later. If you look at the printing and the binding, they are of premium quality. And the book we say here, they are comprised of textbook and story books. In stock with us, we have about 114 books that you can buy from us, and you make your own profit from it. And from what we've seen with the book, because me too have gone through it, it makes learning fun for people and pleasurable for the teacher. You cannot get it in any bookshop, as I've earlier said. And again, Showers Kiddie, they are not just looking at just you selling and making profit. They know that the economy is not smiling, and they don't want the burden to be much on the parents. So they have a fixed price for all their books. Subjects to be covered that are covered we have the English language, mathematics, science, Christian religious study, literacy, phonics, story books of different type, etc. The question is this: how do I apply? Either I want to buy it outrightly, or I want to collect loan. For existing client, that's what we call order form, which I will show us shortly. You have to fill the order form. What it means is that you specify the quantity of each textbook you needed, either for primary, nursery, kindergarten, etc. And again, the minimum that you can sell out of each title book, what I mean by title book, let's say mathematics book 5 is a title book, is 10. The minimum you can order is 10. And you should also indicate whether you are purchasing it outrightly or you need a loan. I will show us. Then after that, there is a form we send to you, which you will fill with that and some other documents. We are good. You are good to go. So let me just share, stop this and share the form so that you can see what it entails. Can you see the other form? Hello? Hello?
Go on, we can see and we can hear you.
This is how the other form looks like. Actually, we have about 114 books, as I've told us, comprises of from a kindergarten to a primary school. So you see the classes at this column. Like I said, minimum of 10 books can be purchased. So like the selling price, this is the price you are supposed to sell to the people. They don't like the publisher doesn't want us to inflate the price anyhow. So I want to make a case study. Let's say a school proprietor needs a book for primary, let's say primary 1 to 3. And in each of these classes, we have 40 pupils. So this is what we'll just do. We'll go to this place, just look at it. Sorry. I'll go to the portion where I have the primary school. I just click on primary 1, 2, 3. It will give me all the books that are available. Since I need 40 of each of the book, what I just do is this 40. Sorry. So what it means is that by requesting for 40 of this book, of each of this book, this one will show us the total amount we'll be paying. Either you want to pay it outrightly or as a loan. It means that this person will need a loan of 1,090,800. But the proprietor want to ask, okay, if I buy this book, what will be my profit for buying it? So profit for the school owner will be, sorry, just a minute. Profit.
Okay.
So the school owner will have made a profit of about 130,000 for selling just for primary school. The beauty of it is this: if your school is a school that has a lot of population, you'll be making a lot of money. And again, these are high quality books. So there is an option here where I will pay full amount. You either put yes if you want to pay, or if you need a loan, you just let us know yes. And the amount will be the total amount of this book here. With this form and the form that the account officer will send to you, you are good to collect, you are good to make money from the sales of book. And let me just tell us, this book, some people will say, now people are using phones and the rest of it. Book has been with us. There's no how book will go away. And since this thing is in line with the national curriculum, anything that the people are learning now, you know that when the school resumes, the teacher will not do extra work of letting the student to know what they are supposed to know. So I will conclude by, by giving us this quotation that I love so much. The quotation by Paul Sweeney, he said, "You know you've read a good book when you turn the last page and feel a little as if you have lost a friend. You need to read the books produced by Shawwa Skidi for you to know what this quotation is saying." And this one says, if you don't like to read, you haven't found the right book. So on this note, I will encourage each and every one of us to try this Shawwa Skidi book. And once you read it, the appetite to always read will be there. And likewise, it applies to the people. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Stephen. Mr. Stephen is actually a man with many wise words. So thank you very much. And it's quite interesting that he's the one talking about books. You know, so I hope that during the Q&A session, you're able to answer. I can see questions already on on your presentation. We're going to take questions at the end of the session. We have two more speakers who are ready to also show us some interesting things that Edfin has packaged to help us with our cash flow concerns and to ensure sustainability of our operations in school. So our next session is for our next session, we're going to have a presentation on data sales, and it's going to be anchored by Dayo Falokun. Dayo Falokun, are you here?
Yes, Chika, I'm available.
Okay, yeah. So before you come on, we're going to play a video on data sales, and then you start your session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you looking for an affordable data package to run your remote school conveniently? Save up to 50% on your data cost when you buy an education data package from Edfin. Edfin Microfinance Bank has data packages with an affordable payment plan to meet your data service needs. Buy data in bulk and share to your students when they pay fees. The data plans are 1 gig for 312 naira, 280 gig for 87,450 naira, 465 gig for 143,000 naira, 920 gig for 279,000 naira, and 1,225 gig for 344,300 naira. You can now enjoy fast internet access at affordable prices. This data service is brought to you in collaboration with MTN. For more information, please call 08094546334 or send an email to contact us at edfinmfb.com. Edfin Microfinance Bank, enabling education for the future.
Okay, so Dayo, thank you for joining us. Thank you for your time and all you do at Edfin. So we're happy to have you on the show, and you can start. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Chika. Good afternoon, participants. Welcome once again to our webinar on income generation. And so far, we've talked about the need for us to think outside of the box. And this is one of the means by which we think outside of the box. One of the things we've realized over the course of the last 5 months or thereabouts is the fact that education will continue, but the means of engagement is going to change. And of course, what it means is that technology is going to be an integral part of our learning process, which means that schools will need to make that adjustment to bring in blended learning. Yeah, so while we have the textbooks like Mr. Stephen just talked about, there is a need for students and schools through their teachers to be able. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go on, we can hear you.
Okay, yeah, so there is a need for schools and teachers to be able to engage students via digital platforms. And one major component for that to happen is data. You would agree with me that for the past 5 months, data consumptions across, regardless of whatever industry you play in, has increased. And for you to be able to sustain blended learning in your school or your educational outfit, it is important for you to have a cost-effective data plan that would be both flexible for you to use and, like I said, cost-effective. So what I'm going to do in the next 5-10 minutes is to walk us through what Edfin has been able to do to bring us affordable data in the course of as we integrate from, or as we migrate from the traditional learning platforms to, of course, the blended learning. So I'll just share my screen now. I'll walk us through how it works. And if you have questions in the course of my presentation, you can drop it in the chat section and I'll attend to it subsequently. So Chika, you need to enable me to share my screen. Yeah. Hello, Chika.
Yes, you can actually share your screen. You don't need to be enabled.
Yeah, because I see it saying I need to get permission from you. That's why I'm asking.
Oh, I know why. So do you mind if I share your screen? I know why, because you know multiple people signed in using one link. So let me share on your behalf.
Can we see my screen now, please?
Yes, we can.
So very quickly, I'm going to education. So this data plan enables us to get MTN data for our users. And then it saves us about 50% of our normal digital data cost for consumption. And how does this work for schools? Schools will be able to generate income by buying the data in bulk and reselling to students. You will see how that works very shortly. The data plans that we have available are the 1 gig data plan. Of course, the 1 gig is just telling you that you can get as low as anything from 1 to 279 gig of data. But there is also the bulk data, which is 280. There is 465. There is 920, and of course, there is 1,225 gig worth of data. And what are these benefits to you? You might want to ask, okay, why am I not using the normal data from maybe other subscribers? Why should I use this particular data that has been prescribed for education purposes by MTN? Now, like I mentioned earlier, that is going to save you by subscribing for this data plan. Is going to save you about 50% or more of your current data consumption cost. The data is also, and this is the next thing I'm going to say now is the main catch. This particular data plan is valid for 90 days. Now, someone might say, if I buy, I can get a 1 gig data from MTN for 300 Naira. But if you check again the validity for that is 1 day. You can check across other platforms, across other networks. You will find out that 1 gig you're talking about in terms of is valid for only 1 day or a few days. Now this, if you buy this data, is actually valid for the maximum validity is 90 days. What it means is that if you don't use up your data within the space of maybe a day, as you would have in other platforms, other networks, you have the opportunity to, still use those data, the particular data you've paid for a period, a maximum of 90 days. Now, if you are sharing the data, that's the first one I talked about, is if you are buying in bulk. So you have a bucket, it's called a data bucket. You have, let's say, 280 gig of data in your data bucket. As long as you are selling from that data bucket, it's valid for 90 days. Now, once you sell to a consumer, maybe a student or a teacher in your network. So let's assume that you have 10 teachers in your school and you decide to to sell maybe 2 gig of data to each of them. That means out of your 280 gig bulk data that you've bought that is valid for 90 days, the 2 gig you have given to them, making 20 gig in all for the 10 teachers, is going to be valid for 30 days. So the shared or the resold data from your existing data bulk that is valid for 90 days is actually valid for 30 days. I'll explain further down when we get to the demonstrations. Schools can also generate additional income by reselling the data to students, to teachers, and every other education stakeholders within your network with a margin. And how does this? So I just gave a pictorial diagram of how the people you can resell your data to. So if you decide that, okay, I want to make money out of this data sale, you can sell, like I've said just now, you can sell to teachers, you can sell to students, you can sell to parents of your students, you can also sell to other education providers or vendors within your ecosystem. But the catch here is you should be careful in terms of putting your markup, because if your selling price is higher than the existing market value, then you're going to run into trouble. People would want to go for the cheaper and more affordable option. So we advise that you find out what is the existing, the maximum value that you have in the market, and peg your markup around that, or a little bit lower than what is available in the market. That way you'll be competitive. You'll be competitive, and then you can sell more. Please note that this data package is only for education purposes. In other words, you can't use it for any other thing that is outside of learning and teaching and what have you. So how it works, there are 2 models we've been able to develop in partnership with MTN. The first model is you come in as a sub-agent. What does that mean? It means that you can buy data in bulk, and that bulk data, like I said earlier, minimum of 280 gig. So for you to have a sub-agent status, you need to buy at least 280 gig worth of data. Now, I'll run us through the process for registration, because it's not just a plug and play. You go through some processes for you to be able to begin to resell the data. The first you see here is an account will be opened for you. So if you pay for the 280 gig worth of data, an account will be opened for you in the name of your school. And then an admin will be assigned the particular, we will train the admin that so that you can manage the data distribution or resale in your own network. So once you make that payment, you will receive a dedicated SIM from MTN for data sale through us. So MTN, once you make that payment to MTN, MTN will send us a SIM. You send us the proof of payment. MTN will send us the SIM card for your school, and then we will give it to you. And then you will go to maybe the admin, the person that is going to administrate the data sales from your school, will visit any of the nearest MTN service center in your location for corporate SIM registration. Where you're going, the person should go with the valid ID card and then letter of introduction showing that the person is actually from your school, CAC registration if you have one, or probably your approval from the Ministry of Education, then the utility bill for the facility you're currently using for your school. Once you get to the office, they'll run you through the process. It's pretty straightforward if there are no many clients that are attending to at that particular time. Then after 24 hours, you will insert the SIM in a phone, and then you can begin to resell data. I will walk us through the process of reselling data after this presentation. Now, the other option is for outright purchase. So for instance, you have 20 students, you don't want to buy 280 gig worth of 280 gig worth of data. Yeah, you can actually still benefit from this package. So what you do is you will pay for, you can collect monies from your students or teachers with a markup. So let's say the cost price for this data is 312 Naira. You can collect 350 Naira. I'm just using an hypothetical figure. You can collect 350 Naira from all your students for data for 1 month. If you're going to give them 2 gig each for the blended learning, you will collect maybe that equivalent for 350 Naira markup, for instance. That would be 700 Naira for 2 gig data per month. Like I said, it's just a random example. Whatever works for you is fine. So if you take that 700 Naira from maybe 10 students, that's 7,000 Naira. You will pay Edfin the 7,000 Naira. Sorry, you pay Edfin the equivalent 10 gig worth of data. That is 312 times 2, that's 624 times 10. That would be 6,240 Naira. So out of the 7,000 Naira you've collected from the students in your network, you pay Edfin 6,240 Naira, and then you send the MTN numbers of the students or the teachers, as the case might be. You will send it to us via WhatsApp. I'll show you the WhatsApp number that you will send it to. And then once we get that request from you, we will credit the students and they can begin to use the data. If you have any questions with respect to that, I will take it afterwards. Now, so this is the data sharing process for someone that if you set up an account for you for the 280 gig data, and upwards, we'll set up an account for you through MTN. And then your admin just goes to www.mtn.com and enters this. I'll show you, there will be a practical session for this. And then once you enter into the dashboard, it gives you this option. Can we all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. It gives you this option that, okay, you want to do corporate data gifting. So once you click on the corporate data gifting, it brings this interface, and then you click on the buy bundle. Once you do that, it brings you to this interface. Now, this is where you will enter the sender ID. Like I said, I'll do a demonstration. The sender ID will be the name of your school, for instance. So let's say ABC Academy is the sub-agent. You enter ABC Academy here or whatever works for your school. And then you select the 30-day validity period. Ensure it is a 30 days validity period that you select. So once you select this, you can go down and click the data volume you want to share from your existing data bucket. And then you go to the last phase, which is of course to enter the recipient number that you want to give the data to. So there are two options here. You can either upload a file here, or you enter the numbers directly in this field. Once that is done, you click on proceed here, and then you confirm, and then that's all. The data is sent to your end user. Now, like I said, this data is brought to us in partnership with MTN. And at this point, I'll just go straight to, if I don't know how much time I still have, I'll go straight to the demonstrations. So if you give me a minute. So this is,
can we play the video instead, because it does the same thing?
Okay, yeah, fantastic, great.
Yes.
So that is basically what the MTN data sales is all about. Like I said at the beginning of this presentation, the most important thing for us at this time as school is to think outside the box. The times have changed, methodologies have changed. We must integrate technology into our learning process, and part of an integral component of technology for that to work is data. And this particular data that I just talked to you about is a cost-effective, affordable data plan that you can generate income from. Thank you very much. Chika, over to you.
How to transfer MTN data through MTN corporate data sharing. Go to www.mymtn.com.ng on your browser. Once the home.
Thank you very much, Dayo. I had already started sharing the data data sharing demo. So should I go on?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I'll start from the beginning again.
Yeah.
How to transfer MTN data through MTN corporate data sharing. Go to www.mymtn.com.ng on your browser. Once the homepage is loaded,
Chika, are you the one sharing the presentation? I think you need to take it down so that we can see the demo.
Enter your registered MTN number for data sharing. Click on proceed.
Chika.
Yes, please.
You need to, is the video on now?
The video is on. Okay, so you need to stop sharing, Dayo. Your screen is still up.
Okay.
How to transfer MTN data through MTN corporate data sharing. Go to www.mymtn.com.ng on your browser. Once the homepage is loaded, scroll down to the Enter MTN number box. Enter your registered MTN number for data sharing. Click on Proceed. Select how you want to receive the one-time password or OTP. Click on Send OTP. Enter the OTP sent to your MTN number and click on Proceed. You will be directed to your account page. Click on the menu bar and click on Buy Bundle. Then search for Corporate Data Gifting. Click on Corporate Data Gifting and select Corporate Data Gifting Bundles. Enter your sender ID, select the data validity period and select the data volume to be shared. Enter the MTN number of the recipient or the recipients. Then click on Proceed. Select Confirm to transfer the data. Once the sharing process is successful, the recipient or recipients will receive the data. Edfin Microfinance Bank, enabling education for the future.
Okay, so thank you very much, Dayo. That was an engaging session. We already have a lot of questions, and inquiries that we should send your number, and I can see there's some interest already from the chat room. We will now go to the very last but not the least session, which I find very interesting personally. This is just to inform everyone that we're at capacity now, and we're also streaming via YouTube. So just in case you drop off due to network connectivity and you need to get in, please try Edfin Microfinance Bank on YouTube and excuse me, and watch the live streaming from there. Thank you. We're also open to questions. Please drop them on the chat box. During the Q&A session, we will take the questions. Some of the questions are already being answered, so look out for the responses to your questions as well. So our last but not the least, as I had said earlier, will be Ms. Dayo Adewale. Ms. Dayo Adewale is the head of commercial Edfin, and she will take us through our last presentation for the day, and then we go to the question and answer segment. Thank you, Ms. Dayo, for joining us. It's amazing to have you here. Thank you for all you do at Edfin. And yes, you can take it on from here.
Okay, I think you need to share the video first.
Okay, okay. I thought you wanted to share it at the end. So let me share the video.
Thank you very much, Ika.
Introducing Edfin Remote Learning Solution.
It's a remote learning solution. So we have device, we've got content, and we have data. So for the devices, we have this mobile device, SIM enabled. Then of course we have 7-inch tab with protective case, both SIM and no SIM. So for the content, we have a lot of content. First of all, I would like to show you Success Box. Success Box, these are past questions from BEC and SSE. It will help the student prepare for the exam. All the student needs to do is to choose the test. If it's a speed test or a standard test, okay, I choose a standard test. So you select the subjects. I choose mathematics. You select the question set, and of course the duration. If you want to use 30 minutes to solve the question, so I chose 30 minutes. Then you say start. This is just an advert. Remove it. So you see, these are the questions, and you can see the various options. Now from here you see that you have 60 questions, and this is your timer. So you keep once you choose your answer, you go to the next question, and you continue like that until you finish the question within the time given. And when you are done, you can check your score and see how well you have performed, which of the questions you got wrong, so you can better prepare against next time. Also, on this device, we have a lesson teacher card. Now, lesson teacher is actually a memory card. We have for primary school and for the secondary school. It contains video lessons taken by Nigerian teachers. For the primary school, we have only 3 subjects. That's basic science and technology, English language, and mathematics. Those are the 3 subjects we have. Now, if you choose any of them, you will see primary 1 to primary 6, which means once a child have this device, the child can use it from primary 1 up to primary 6. And if you have more than one, you have about 2 to 3 children in primary school, they all can use this device. You just have to time them so that they all can use it. It's from primary 1 to primary 6, this device. I want to choose primary 2, so you see. Now, let me choose addition of numbers. Okay, these are all the subjects. These are all the subjects covered.
You are welcome to School on Air. This is the mathematics class for primary 2. Today we'll be looking at the topic addition of numbers in tens and units by renaming. Addition.
And you have the option of attempting the quiz once the class is over. For the primary school, you have only 3 subjects, but for the secondary school, you have subjects per class. So if it's an arts class, you've got the arts subject, if it's commercial class, and of course, if it's for science class. The secondary school is from GSS1 up to SS3. So if you have 3 children, 4 children in secondary school, they can all use the device. And you have all this content also in the tab, in the 7-inch tab. You have all these resources inside. Also, that's not the end. If you go to our website, edfinmfb.com, you will have access to a lot of free resources. We have a lot of free resources on our website, over 200 learning resources, free. Both the ones that are apps and the ones that are websites, you have access to them based on the classes, if it's elementary school, secondary school, primary school. We've got a whole lot there. You can choose the one you want, and we'll put it on the tab and on the device for you. A lot of resources, free resources on our website, and we'll put them on the device so that you can have access to them. We need to, because we know that school is no longer business as usual, we need to have this. Remote learning has come to stay. Sometimes some students will only need to spend maybe 1 or 2 hours in the school. The rest, they have to do it at home. That's why they need a remote learning device. And we have made this very easy. We have a partnership with MTN. So you have very cheap data, affordable data to go with it. So we have the data, you have the content, and of course, you have the durable device to go with. This is Edfin Microfinance Bank, enabling education for the future. Very much, Chika.
Thank you very much, Chika. Good afternoon, all. Thank you very much for joining us. We are really excited to have you here with us. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing my screen. I'll just take you through a very short slide, and I just want to show you how you as a school can make money from remote learning solution. Okay, so our proposed solutions, we have data, we've got the lesson teacher card, and we have a lot of free resources, as you have seen on the video on our website. So this is for the school, the students, and of course, for teachers. Okay, why do we need it? Because we know that schools will no longer be business as usual. As a result of the pandemic, you have to be creative. Our MD just took us through different ways we can ensure that we are able to make income. So students will not be spending as much time in school as they used to be. If you see on the screen right now, you see a sample of a school's reopening plan. This is actually from a school. They plan to have group A, group B, so that they can have group A will have when they will be in class and when they will be at home. Then the group B we have when they will be in class. Also, you can see a sample timetable of how they are able to schedule the teachers in a way that a teacher that is taking online class will not be in class at the same time, okay? So this is the reason why you need to still have remote learning. Nobody is saying our school is resuming now, we don't need devices, we don't need all these things. It's not true, you need it. COVID-19 did not take us off track. It actually propelled us in the right direction. It's something we would have planned to do in the next 10 years time, but it pushed us forward, okay? So we need
to have remote learning solution. Okay, for us, we have device. This is the device. This is it. Okay, so we have the device. It's a mobile phone, a regular mobile phone. It's SIM enabled. You have slot for 2 SIMs inside. It uses memory card, and the screen is large enough for any student to use. Both primary, secondary school, it depends on the parent and the school. So you have that device. Then of course we have a tab. Okay, as you have seen in the video, we have this tab, both the one that use SIM and the one that, because sometimes parents, because of parental control, might not want the child to have SIM, so that anytime the child need to connect to internet, you are available, you can monitor their Wi-Fi. So you can use the one without SIM, and of course, the one with SIM for maybe the senior classes that can control themselves and other things. So you've got this very durable, it's got protective case so that when it falls, you can cushion the effect of it. So we've got that with device. All right, so for content, we've got a lot of content. We have the lesson teacher card. You don't need internet to operate that. You don't need internet. Once you have it in the device, that is it. From primary 1 to primary 6, the child will keep learning video lessons taken by Nigerian teachers, okay? Then of course, we have the success box for children that are preparing for BECE and SSE WAEC to keep learning, keep timing themselves until they become very good. Then it will be easy for them to pass the exam. I showed you on the video that on our website, we have free learning resources. We have a lot of them. They are the ones that you can offline, the ones that are online, the ones that are apps, and the ones that are website. A whole lot of them you can choose from, depend on the kind of school you run, okay? All right, these are some of the bundle options. So we have the Android phone. We've got the success box, that's for people preparing for WAEC. And of course, we've got data for 1 term. And this goes for 22,700. And if you decide that you want to take a loan to buy it, you can take a loan. Installment is 4,816 per month. That's a loan for 6 months. If you want this with the card, the lesson teacher card, for with the Android phone, it is 33,700. But if you want the lesson teacher card secondary, because the secondary school own is more expensive than the primary school own, it is 39,300 with the mobile phone. But if it's with the tab that does not use SIM, it's 24,000 naira. And of course, with the lesson teacher card, it is 36,500. Then for the secondary own, it's 31,400. And with the lesson teacher card, it's 48,000 naira, okay? All right, the explainer video, she has shown it to you. Okay, how do I make money? How do I generate income from this? So here I've been able to, I put the cost price and suggested selling price, suggested income, and to let you know that if you have as just only 20 pupils, this is what you can make as income. This is what you can make as income. Or only 20 pupils, this is what you can make as income. Then apart from this, there are still other ways you can generate money using remote device. Because like MD rightly explained, why a lot of us are afraid that we will lose students because of the COVID-19. I tell you the truth, we will gain some more students. Because of proximity, she rightly explained to us that parents might not want to take their children to be entering public transport because COVID-19 does not make us conscious of the virus or the disease. It made us conscious of ourselves. Every parent is not conscious of where their children go to, what they touch, hygiene. The consciousness is very high. So because of that, everybody's trying to see a way where you can keep your children without getting them mixed with other things and other people. So some parents in your area might want to bring their children to your school. So you have opportunity of selling this device to other parents too, not only parents of your students in the school. And we saw that we have opportunity of making money from data sale. When you have devices in their hands, you can also be selling data to them on a monthly basis or on a daily basis, and you'll still be making money from it. Now, if there's one major thing we need to take out from this COVID-19 is creativity. We have to be creative in every way. Everywhere you meet yourself, creativity is the key. You cannot just say because I am a primary school, then I am thinking as a primary school. No, you have to think of other ways. For example, my MD directly said language learning. Some people want to learn English. Then we know there are some adults that don't even know how to operate mobile phone. They don't know how to do Excel. They don't know how to do a lot of things on this type of devices. You can also have an adult computer literacy program in your school. You can have adult literacy program. You can teach adults how to speak English, and all this can be done even using the remote learning. You can teach them how to use Zoom, how to use other things. You can inculcate that into what you're doing in the school. I mean, when the students have come in the morning, they've gone. In the evening, you can use it for adult lessons. You can use it for a whole lot of things. You can use it to prepare people for WAEC. They don't have to be students from your school. You can use it to do a whole lot of things. You can use it to do even vocational courses. You can use it for your vocational courses. Think of ways you can use what you have available instead of using it for one thing. Multiple use of items that you have. Remote learning solution, it has come to stay. It's not going anywhere. And the earlier we know that, the better. We have to accept this norm. This is the new norm. Your students, you have to think of a way to make sure that even if they can all stay, because I mean, you can only accommodate maybe 25% of your normal school size. I mean, look at government schools. They are not building more schools. Have you not even thought about that? Government are not building more schools, and they have thousands of students there. How do you think they want to manage this? It's remote learning. They have already figured out that maybe some students, only one day in a week, they will come for physical classes. The rest is going to be done via remote learning. So why you are still breaking your head on looking for how to rent a bigger hall? No, don't rent bigger hall. Start remote learning, remote learning. We know that sometimes it's difficult to convince parents about this thing, but don't worry. The first stage in change is denial. The second stage is fear. Once they can conquer those two stages, then you don't have any problem again. How do they now conquer these two stages? You just have to keep showing them. I've just told you now that Lagos State is not building more schools. Tell your parents, have they seen Lagos State building more schools? Where do they want to keep those students with 25% capacity requirement? That means they have been creative. They've accepted that remote learning is the new norm. You keep telling them. Also, we too will still look for a way to engage the parents because they too are they are a key stakeholder in education ecosystem. So we'll see, just keep watching our space. We have a lot of webinars coming on, not only for the school now, we still intend to still talk to parents too, so that they can accept this new norm and we can all work together to get a better educated Nigerian child. Thank you very much. I would like to take questions when it's time for question and answer. This is all I have for you for now. Thank you very much. Chika, over to you.
Wow.
Thank you. Great job.
Thank you very much. That was an engaging session. I mean, I just kept looking and it was sounding like I'm hearing these things for the first time. Ms. Dayo has worked tirelessly to produce this product. I can't imagine, you know, the research she's done and the input from herself and her team to provide this, you know, and these are hard researched data she's telling us. So it's not as though she slept and she woke up and came up with this. She has actually gone to the market, you know, and she has done the groundwork. So thank you very much for this. I hope that the students and also the parents and also the schools, you know, will be able to adopt this as the new normal going forward, and it will enhance their operations, you know, because this is 2020. It's now time to take questions. We have tons of questions, and our time is fast spent. I mean, we've spent 1 hour 30 minutes on this program. We're going to take the next 15 minutes to take questions from the audience. Some questions have already been answered. I can see that some questions are already answered. But I will start by asking, so one recurring question here is, how do we get low interest rate loans and what are the modalities, ma? This is Gloria Oji from YouTube.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Could you stop sharing the screen?
Okay. Okay, yeah, share stopped.
Great, yeah. So thank you very much for that question. And I too saw a lot of questions around the loans, even on the YouTube channel, as well as on the Zoom. So we are in partnership with a government institution. I can't tell you the name yet because we are still in the process of signing an agreement, but it is really great news for schools. So this government institution is setting up a dedicated loan portfolio for schools. They have forced us, and we too have finally agreed that we will give out the loan as single digits. However, you must qualify, so we would evaluate you and look at that. It's a single digit loan. You can get up to 2 to 3 years depending on the purpose. We encourage you to look at some of these income generation ideas, especially the remote learning. Don't come to us that I want to build a building. We will not give you the loan. But, what are the things, like technology, you want to do water sanitation and so on and so forth, we'll be able to give it that loan. Once we finish signing and we can publicly announce, we will make the announcement. In the meantime, if you are already our EdFin school, please ask your ROs to keep you informed. But we would inform all schools on our channels and so on and so forth. I'm sure even that institution will make a press release. So come to EdFin. We are the partners for their education loan fund.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much for that answer. The next question I'm going to be taking is on textbook. Mr. Stephen, this is for you. So you'll have to turn on your camera and your mic. Yes. So the question is on books. And this is from Oluremi Abosede. I believe this is from Zoom. And she says, some of these private publishers are always expensive and leaves little margin for profits. How do you respond to that comment?
Yeah, thank you, Shika. If you look at Shawa's Kiddies publishing this thing, the profit margin that they gave is really okay. Even if you are collecting loan, like the MD answered one person on the chat, it's just for 3 months. With that 3 months, at least the interest we are charging you, you are still making a profit that is almost that of the decent. Shower Kiddies have put all those into consideration. They are about the best publisher you can see. So they too, they put all those into consideration. That's no how you will not make your own, unless you want SS, which I believe is not really the best for now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Stephen. I hope you have been able to answer Abosede's question. The next question will be for Adedayo Falukun, and it's on data sales. This question says, does it mean I will get another SIM for my phone? Dayo, are you on?
Yes, I'm on.
Yes, so the person is asking about the SIM, yes.
Yes, you have to get another SIM. MTN will actually give you the SIM that is dedicated for this purpose. So it's not like the normal SIM you use. So once you make the payment for the data plan you want, and you send the proof of payment, MTN will make provision for a SIM that is activated for this purpose. It is that SIM that you will put in any of your phones, existing phones, and you are good to go.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope it answers the question. I will go to a question on, let me look for a question on the remote learning. Okay, I can't see any for now. I wanted to ask, but please bring, oh yes, I saw Josiah Comfort asked the question. So Ms. Dayo, please, can you come on? I believe this is from Zoom, and she's asking, is there any remote learning device for nursery classes?
Yes. The tab for nursery classes, yes.
Okay, so
yeah,
another
but they will
question.
need parental, how do they say, the parent has to take the nursery classes through it, or the teachers. Yes. So we don't expect nursery to do it on their own, unlike other classes, but the parents would have to use it with them. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so Dayo, this question is for you and it's from Zoom. So they are asking, is the data sharing for other networks like Airtel? I know you've answered that, but you could explain a little bit more.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. We are still in talks with other networks. For now, we're just doing MTN for now, yes. So once we are able to seal a partnership with other networks on this kind of plan, we will communicate via all our social media and communication channels.
Okay, so Someone is asking on Zoom also on the data, and the person says, what happens if you couldn't sell the bulk data during the 90 days validity period?
Okay, I mean, I get where you're coming from. The good news is that you can't push to exhaust the data. I mean, in the last 1 month that we started with, this is the third 280 gig data plan we've purchased, and the third one is almost exhausted. So if you do your marketing well, within 1 month, you would exhaust your 280 gig data. But if not, then after 90 days, your data expires. There are no rollovers for this data plan. But the onus is on you that you do marketing very well, and you can't. Typically, you should waste data. You should exhaust your 280 gig data within the space of 90 days. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dayo. The next question is on remote learning. And Oladele Ronke is asking for the price. She says we need the price for the remote learning. So I believe she wants a breakdown or something. So how can she assess the pricing for the remote learning?
Yeah, I think she should call us.
Yes,
because I responded actually that she could call the number. I think try and display our contact numbers. Then also it ranges from 22,700, the cheapest, to 48,000, the most expensive. So, but it depends on what she needs that determines the price. So she should please send a WhatsApp chat to the phone number, and we've actually been putting the phone number on the chat. And we will also send all the information to everyone who joined. Somebody just said how much is 28 gig that they just joined. So they will send that information round. Someone also asked that if they had loans with other banks, can they take our loan? And I've answered that it depends on how much loan it is. It depends on their capacity. So for instance, if your loan with another bank is 200,000 and you've been paying promptly, if your loan is 200,000, for instance, you've been paying promptly then, and you have capacity for 1 million, we can actually give you that loan. So do apply. Always still come to talk to us, because you never know, we may be able to say yes to you, even existing EdFin loan customers, so we may be able to work something out. Talk to your RO so that you can be able to get the loans.
Wow, so this has been very engaging and insightful. I have one more question, and that's on the textbook. It has to do with the textbook segment. And the question is, with the advocacy of digital learning, how do we convince parents about the need to still purchase textbook?
Yeah, thank you. That is a very valid question. Like I told us, book has been with us and it's not going. And if you know that this book is for the nursery and the primary, they appreciate what they can see, colorful things. Although the digital learning is good, but you cannot take it away from the book. A child seeing a book printed and the rest of it is so attracted to it and the rest of it. And you see like this, that like all this digital and the rest of it, we see in parental monitoring, but book, once you can read, and it's in line with the national curriculum. So it's not how the book is going away. It depends on how we make them to see the reason why the book is very, very important. Even during this COVID, if we know how to do marketing, we'll sell these books and make profit, and the children will get quality education. This is what we are preaching. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much.
There are some questions on the, sorry, there's some questions on the YouTube channel that I also want to address.
Okay.
Someone talked about are the prices for the tablet one-off? Yes, you can buy one-off, but you can also apply for a loan where you can pay over 6 months. Then apart from that, you can also share devices. Someone asked, can a parent with 3 or 4 children share one device? Yes, they can. So for instance, like we explained, if you have primary 1 to 6 data there, they can share it, but you have to have timing for each child. And even you can load on the secondary school one, but it has to be, that's the one has to be a separate device. So if you have primary school, they can share. If they have secondary, all the people in secondary can share. So on the data, as I said, a lot of people are spending a lot on data. So yes, use Lesson Teacher, which doesn't require data. But if you also want data, that MTN data we are talking about comes to at least 50% saving on your typical data from the market. I think those are the question I thought. So that data, please call us to know. I think I saw something about the loan. How do we assess low interest loan, especially when we are already involved in the previous loan? So I've answered that already. So thank you. I think it was Ifeku Thomas and Loretta as well on the Zoom channels.
Okay, thank you very much, our panelists. Thank you, our participants, and thank you, our production team. They've been doing amazing work behind the scenes. Thank you for staying up until now. We have spent 1 hour 42 minutes, and I wouldn't want to take up more of your time. If you have more questions, please email us at contactus@edfinmfb.com. You can also call our line, which is 0809-454-6334. I'll repeat, the contact number is 080, right, it's here, 009-454-6331. And our email is contactus@edfinmfb.com. You could also drop us messages on any of our social media pages, which is at edfinmfb. You know, we are on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on LinkedIn, and we're on Twitter. Thank you very much. Also, as a means to respond to some people who were asking about the presentations, this video will be uploaded on our YouTube channel, so you can always go back to refer and forward this to people you think would find it useful and interesting also. So thank you very much for coming. We are always happy to receive you, your questions, and even suggestions as to how we can help enable education for the future and better serve the education ecosystem. Thank you once again, and thank you to our panelists, and thank you to our production team. Goodbye, everybody.
All right, goodbye, Chika. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Thank you all for the time.
Bye. Bye.